thank you for tuning in to Chompin at the Bit. This is episode 52. And, of course, happy Thanksgiving to you guys that are listening. And we all know Thanksgiving is a big football day. So, this episode, I'm going to go over the NFL games for today. It was supposed to be a triple header. It's been knocked down to a double header, as the Ravens have been having some issues with the COVID-19 spreading through their locker room, so that game got pushed out. We'll go over that here in a little bit, but we'll take a look at Texans Lions, give you a breakdown, give you what to look for, and then give you a winner. Also, Washington versus the Cowboys. That's the later game today. Do the same thing with that matchup and pick the winner for that one as well. Then at the end of the episode, take a look at my week 11 picks, which I haven't done yet. So I figure I'll do that in this episode to kind of bridge into week 12 picks, which I will give you at the end as well. So like I just said, there is a good amount to get through. So we'll go ahead and get started with the Thursday NFL football slate. So, like I said, Thanksgiving, always known as the NFL day. And, I mean, I don't know these times if any of you are doing, Thanksgiving games. Some families do play football on Thanksgiving. If you are, have fun. Be safe, of course. But, NFL. Like I just said, it's supposed to be triple header, double header now. And it's been moved to Sunday, and even that's a question mark, because the Ravens have been having issues with their, handling of the pandemic. At least this week, they've had 4 straight days of positive tests. And until they get that under control, then the league can worry about when to play the game. Both teams have had their bye week already, so pushing it out to another week is not an option at this point. So hopefully the Ravens can kind of get it under control. Haven't really heard what might have started all of this, but all we know is 4 straight days. They need to get it under control. So the Steelers are upset about the game being postponed. And I was wondering, for what reason do they have to, whine about it? A few players, tweeted out some stuff. Eric Ebron tweeted at the league saying that this is crap. I think Claypool, talking about the joke. Smith-Schuster was complaining about the league took away their bye week and now they're taking away their primetime Thanksgiving game, blah, blah, blah. And right now, the Steelers are coming off like real babies and they're just whining for every little thing. Frankly, the Steelers need to get over it. I said this when the season started. All these teams have to be fluid. You have to understand that, yeah, I get it. Thursday, Thanksgiving, primetime game, that's a big deal. Missing out on that does suck. But it's 2020. You're dealing with a pandemic. You had to understand this could happen. Now, don't get me wrong. The Ravens will complain when they're ready to. But this is a reason for the game to get moved out. Would the Steelers players be comfortable going out on the field against a team that's had issues, handling the pandemic? No. So they need to shut their mouth, wait for the league to tell them when to play, and then just go out there, handle your business. Now, that's one side of it. I do get that the Steelers are looking at it as, we've done everything that we could. We don't have any tests. Why should we be punished because the Ravens can't handle their own locker room? Valid point, but all things considered, I think it's a moot point. You're not going to win that battle, no matter how much you whine in the media or on Twitter. either way, you're just going to come across as a baby. So Steelers in this case, just stop talking about it. You know, stay prepared, because you know that even though you didn't play Thursday, you will most likely play Sunday. And if not Sunday, you know the league's going to try to get the game in Tuesday or a second Monday game. And they know this because, yes, the league put in for an extra week in case games get postponed and they can't reschedule it. The league doesn't really want to use that extra week. We know that. We've seen several cases where they'll do all they can to get the game played that week. So, yeah. I think the only thing the Steelers are mad about is they're missing out Thanksgiving night game, which is always a big deal. So, whatever. But with thinking about that, I mean, I've said on here numerous times, I am a Patriots fan, so I feel like I'm programmed to hate the Steelers just for them being the Steelers and all those matchups between New England and Pittsburgh and the playoffs and all that stuff. But am I really wrong in thinking that the Steelers aren't the best team in the league? I get it that they're 10-0. You know, that's a great feat. But like, just looking around the league, and I can see maybe like 5 teams that I think like have a better chance of winning it all. And I don't know. I mean, you guys have to let me know. Is that just me being a hater? But like, I look at Kansas City, I feel like that's an obvious one. Tampa Bay. We've seen the struggles with Brady and all that, but I still say Tampa Bay has a better shot. The team I have been sleeping on all year, the Rams, continue to look good. I could see the Rams as a better threat than the Steelers. Seahawks. I mean, I started off the year saying the Seahawks would probably make the Super Bowl, so I'm going to stick with that. I think that could be debatable, but we'll come back to that. I mean, I would take Pittsburgh over the Green Bay. That's like, it's kind of comparing the same. Big Ben, Aaron Rodgers. To me, both quarterbacks a little overrated in terms of what they've done with their career, but I get it. I feel like even Baltimore, if they get their stuff together, I could see Baltimore knocking off a Pittsburgh team in the playoffs. And as much as I hate on Phillip Rivers, the Colts defense gives me a reason to think that they can knock off Pittsburgh. You could even throw Tennessee if you want. The Cardinals with that offense, Kyler Murray, Hopkins and all that. So, yeah, Pittsburgh's 10-0, and they're probably on their way to the top seed in the AFC, but I do think they still have a lot of work to do. I still don't trust Big Ben. I know he's looked good so far this year, but there's something about him. I'm not completely sold on him for this year. So that's definitely something to look at as we get into the final, 6 weeks of the year. So yeah, Pittsburgh, quit talking, quit whining, and just wait for Tuesday or something to play Baltimore, which big game for Baltimore, of course, because, remember Baltimore started off the year looking like they might be up there with Kansas City in terms of fighting for the 1 seed. And now, Baltimore's sitting at 6-4. I believe they would still, no, actually Baltimore has fallen out of the playoffs now, because I did check the playoff outlook right now. So with the 7 teams getting in, Baltimore's on the outside looking in at number 8, and then coming up behind them, well, I mean, they're kind of alone at 8, because after that you get into a bunch of 4 and 6 teams, like my Patriots, which that game against Houston makes me even more upset about, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, so Baltimore needs this game just as much as Pittsburgh needs it, because Pittsburgh at 10-0 has the Chiefs behind them at 9-1, and Pittsburgh would love to have home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. So they still have a lot to play for, and Baltimore's playing for their playoff lives. So big matchup. I would have loved to have seen it today, because it was easily the best game on the schedule for today, but it is what it is. 2020, be fluid. So that out of the way, go ahead, take a look at the 2 games that are happening today. They are going to happen because Texans, Lions, Cowboys, and Washington haven't reported any positive tests, so they are good to go. First game, Texans, Lions, which is going to start here shortly. Coverage starts at like 12:30. They probably won't kick off till around 1. But either way, both teams come in to the game. Texans are 3-7. Lions are 4-6. They're both near the bottom of their division, respectively. Both teams coming into this game have 2 wide receivers that are out. Houston, they will be without Randall Cobb, Kenny Stills. Detroit won't have Danny Amendola, Kenny Golladay. So, weapon-wise, both teams are down a couple. Houston probably can better account for those, as they still have Will Fuller, Brandon Cooks, 2 top-tier receivers on the team. So they're fine. Detroit, Golladay is kind of their number 2, and Amendola was their number 3 receiver. So it's going to rely on Marvin Jones and what's his name? Mohamed Sanu. There's a name. He's going to probably get more reps this week. So, and Sanu, after his time with Atlanta, has been bouncing around a little bit. He was with New England, failed there. Went to San Francisco, didn't really last there. And now he's in Detroit. So we'll see what he can do today. Both teams have coaches that most likely won't be back next year. Not sure, but at least we know Romeo Crennel definitely won't be back, as he's the oldest coach in the league. Houston's already gotten rid of Bill O'Brien, so they're going to go ahead and do their head coaching search after this season. Matt Patricia, on the other hand, probably should have been gone after last year, but it kind of seems like at this point, barring probably, running the table, going 10-6 and finding a way to get into the playoffs, he should be gone. We'll have to see what Detroit ends up doing there. But yeah, so both teams have been underwhelming. Houston at 3-7. Well, I know when the season started, I thought Houston was going to be a major player in that division, but they're sitting 4 games out. They look like, their season's pretty much done. Detroit has rebounded here a little bit past couple of weeks. They are 4-6. And, in the NFC, which is really top heavy, they're not completely out of it. Because just looking real quick, you have with Saints, Buccaneers ahead of them, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals. That's 5. Packers. And then you get 1 from the dreadful NFC East. So, yeah. So they are, 2 games out of a playoff spot. That's manageable. They will have to jump over the Vikings and Bears in their division, and the Cardinals, who are sitting at the 7 seed right now. So the Lions are holding on to, a faint hope of making the playoffs. They probably won't, but at least they're somewhat in it. Houston, like I said, they're 3 games out of a playoff spot. So they are on life support at this point. both teams pretty much would have to run the table, it looks like. But Houston is coming off a win over the Patriots where they beat them 27-20. Deshaun Watson looked great in that game. I mean, we all know that Deshaun Watson is a pretty good quarterback. It's just that, I don't know, either the defense hasn't been up to par or Watson will sometimes have these games where he'll be, like 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions and just look like he's completely lost out there. But if he can play like he did, last week against New England, then Houston should be fine in this matchup. Like I said, even though Cobb and Stills aren't there, and that's a big deal for their offense, they still have Cooks and Fuller, which, I mean, Fuller is kind of the guy that Watson does look to a lot. So the passing game should be fine. And Watson, will make some plays with his legs. So as long as Watson doesn't turn the ball over, Houston will be good to go. Detroit, they are coming off a game where, they look terrible. They got shut out by a Panthers team 20-0. The Panthers didn't have Christian McCaffrey, so that threat wasn't there. And Bridgewater was coming off the game before where he was a little hobbled. So Detroit had a big opportunity to get to 500 and they squandered it. So yeah. So coming into this game, we all know it's a quarterback league. Watson, Stafford, looking at it on paper, good matchup, 2 big name quarterbacks, but I trust Watson more. I know Stafford has all the tools, strong arm. He's a tough guy. I will give Stafford that. If you watch Detroit games, he does get hit a lot, but he seems to always find a way to get back up, play the next week. So I do give Stafford that, but I just trust Watson more and Watson's weapons. So coming into the game, the Texans are the favorite over the Lions. They're a 2.5 point favorite, and I would take the Texans in this game. I think it's going to be 26-21, Houston getting the win. So now going on to the later game, Washington football team versus Dallas Cowboys, 4:30. Which, side note, there were actually some people in the league who wanted to, once they called off Ravens Steelers for tonight, wanted to push both of these games back to the later time. So like Texans Lions instead of 12:30 would have been 4:30, and then Washington Cowboys would have been 8:30. I'm glad the league decided against it because I don't need to watch Washington and the Cowboys at 8:30. I'm good on that. I mean, neither team is really worth watching in primetime. And I'm sure, most people could find something else to watch besides those two later tonight. There'll probably be a good movie on for you. I don't know. You could find something else better to do. So keeping it at 4:30 works for me. Both teams are rebuilding. Well, yeah, because their top quarterbacks did get hurt earlier in the year. So both teams are dealing with their backup quarterbacks. Luckily for them, the backup quarterbacks are veteran guys. So, you can get some. Well, I mean, Andy Dalton's been there for a few weeks. The Cowboys have been up and down with him. I get it. And Alex Smith is now the quarterback for Washington. Happy for that guy, because when he got hurt a couple of years ago, I assumed his career was over, but he fought real hard to come back. A lot of people wondered why he would, but he did it. He's now a starting quarterback again. And as bad as both teams' seasons have been, the winner of today's game would actually be the leader in the division, at least for a couple of days, depending on what happens with the Eagles and Giants over the weekend. So that's right there is just crazy. Both teams are 3-7, but by about 8 o'clock tonight, one of these teams, unless they tie, which wouldn't that just be 2020 for these two teams to tie? But I do think a winner will emerge. So, like I said, yeah, by the time both of them go ahead and have their dinner or whatever and get ready to go to bed, they will be atop the NFC East division. Oh, wow. And actually be in line to host the playoff game. Even crazier. But that's the NFL structure. So, Washington's coming off a win over the Bengals, 20-9. So Alex Smith did get the win in that game. Like I said, happy for him. I mean, it wasn't all good because Joe Burrow actually ended up having like a similar injury to what Alex Smith had on that field a couple of years ago. So hopefully, Joe Burrow can come back because, Joe Burrow was looking good. It was an unfortunate hit. Quick side note as well. Joe Burrow, they said, the police are torn ACL, MCL. I believe there's damage to his PCL. So it's never good to hear those three together because that means probably structural ligament damage. So you probably won't see Joe Burrow for a couple of years. Just throwing that out there. And so back to the game. So, Washington has Alex Smith, feel good story. Their defensive line is actually pretty good. So that is something I do want to see from this game. Haven't watched Washington play really that much this year. So I want to see, the Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Ryan Kerrigan defensive line. They can get after the quarterback. I want to see what kind of pressure they put on Andy Dalton. If they can get Andy Dalton off his spot and create some havoc in the backfield, that would be great for Washington. Looking at the other side, the Cowboys are coming off a win over the Vikings, which was a big win because the Vikings were kind of building some momentum. And, it was Andy Dalton's first game back after the concussion and however else I also think he was on the illness list as well in there. So he did finally come back last week, led them to a big win. And we'll get a chance because I believe the last Cowboy game I did watch was the one where what's his name? Dak Prescott got hurt. So I do want to see CeeDee Lamb because he made an incredible touchdown catch last week against Minnesota. If you didn't see the game, you should definitely go to YouTube and find that highlight. And CeeDee Lamb, for the dumpster fire of a season that's been so far for Dallas, has been a good thing to see. He's their rookie wide receiver. So this is definitely good experience for him. Hopefully he can build off this and go into next year just that much better. And hopefully Dak is back and they can kind of build a nice tandem down there in Dallas. I mean, that's probably the only thing they have to look forward to for the rest of this year, seeing CeeDee Lamb develop. Andy Dalton does give them the best chance to win. I mean, no shade at Garrett Gilbert, but Andy Dalton is a better quarterback than Gilbert. So, do want to see how Dalton looks. But coming into the game, the Cowboys are a 3-point favorite over Washington. I'm actually going to go with the underdog here. Something about this matchup, I just think Alex Smith, Alex Smith is 2 weeks removed from his passing career high with 365 yards. They have Terry McLaurin, so they have weapons there. They also have Jordan Reed at tight end position. So, the Cowboys still have Ezekiel Elliott, even though I haven't been really impressed with Ezekiel Elliott for the past couple of years. So yeah, give me Washington in the upset today. Not only do I think Washington's going to cover, I think Washington will win outright. I'm taking them to win 24-20 over the Cowboys. Oh, sorry about that. The spread is 2.5, so Cowboys are a 2.5 point favorite. I'm still taking Washington 24-20. So those are the two matchups on the field today. But so just to go back over that, I'm taking the Texans 2.5 point favorite over the Lions, and I'm taking the Redskins as a 2.5 point underdog over the Cowboys. So now on to my NFL picks. So as I said in the beginning of this episode, I'm going to be throwing a lot at you here because I'm going to go back over my week 11 picks and then do my week 12 picks right now. So got 12 games coming at you. So here we go. So with week 11, started with Arizona and Seattle Thursday night game. I took Arizona in that game as the 3.5 point underdog. Well, that did not go well. Seattle did actually end up winning that game. You know, Russell Wilson looked great, and Kyler Murray did struggle a little bit. So the Seahawks took that one. So it was 0-1 already. Then had the Falcons-Saints game. I took the Falcons as a 4.5 point underdog to beat the Saints because, you know, Saints had Taysom Hill at quarterback. I thought that was the wrong decision. I was completely wrong on that one. The Saints won that game handily and, you know, made me shut up because I thought they should have started Jameis Winston, and Hill played well, made a couple of passes I didn't think he could, and the Atlanta offense was anemic, so the Saints won that one. That was another loss. Third game was the Patriots and Texans. I went with the Patriots as a 2.5 point favorite in that game. I thought, you know, Cam Newton in that offense would be able to make enough plays to beat a Houston team. I knew Deshaun Watson was going to be dangerous, but Watson was pretty much perfect in that game. So the Texans were able to take that one. That was another loss. So you can kind of see how last week it was shaping up. I was already 0-3. Then the game I felt the most comfortable about, Dolphins-Broncos. I took the Dolphins to beat the Broncos as the 3.5 point favorite. And not only did the Dolphins lose that game, but Tua got benched for Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick came in, wasn't that much better. Probably to talk about that on another day. I thought Brian Flores was wrong to pull Tua. Not like they were getting blown out. Yeah, Tua was struggling a little bit, but I didn't understand that benching. But Denver ended up beating Miami. Drew Lock played well, so that was another loss. So 0-4 already. Then it was the Sunday night game, Kansas City versus the Raiders. I took Kansas City in that matchup because I thought, well, I was expecting, you know, Kansas City to want to get revenge over the Raiders for, you know, giving them their only loss. The Raiders made them look bad the first time, so I thought, you know, Kansas City was going to come out, probably blow them out, send a message to them. Well, that didn't happen. The Raiders played them tough yet again. Raiders actually had a lead late. It came down to Mahomes with about a minute, 5 seconds to go. He led Kansas City down the field for the go-ahead touchdown. So Kansas City did win the game, but Kansas City was a touchdown favorite. They ended up winning by 4. So the Raiders actually covered that game. So that was another loss. So 0-5, 1 game left. Okay, yeah, so 0-5 at this point. Then the Monday night game was the Rams versus the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay, 3.5 point favorite. I took the underdog Rams in this matchup. And the Rams basically did what I thought they were. They were efficient offensively. They made key plays defensively. They picked off Tom Brady a couple of times. Both of those throws were horrendous throws by Brady. He overthrew receivers. On the second pick, he overthrew his tight end. The first one, I don't know who Brady was throwing to, but he threw it literally straight to the Rams safety. So the Rams did upset Tampa Bay, so that was a win for me. So last week I went 1-5, which is pathetic. Worst week I've had so far this year. So at this point, I'm 30-35 on the year. That's 46%. And that was backing up a week where I went 2-4 the week before. So kind of on the downslope. But as I still say, I'm still planning to get to 60% by the end of the year. We'll see how that goes. Push comes to shove, I may start adding more games to try to help myself. You may look at that as kind of padding the stats, but hey, I gotta do what I gotta do at this point. So 30-35 right now. And so week 11 went 1-5. That sucks. So we'll go ahead. We'll jump into week 12 right now. And I already gave you the two for today's game. Houston -2.5 over Detroit. And then Washington as the underdog, plus 2.5 point underdog over Dallas. So my other picks are, I'm going to take the Raiders as a 3.5 point favorite over the Falcons. Now the Falcons, we know about them. They haven't been good all year. The Raiders will be coming off a tough loss to the Chiefs. I'm expecting the Raiders to play better, and I'll just say the Raiders are a better team than the Falcons. And if the Raiders are serious about making the playoffs, that is a game that they need to win, should win, have to win. So give me the Raiders in that one. Fourth game are the Cardinals versus the Patriots. Now, this one, I don't know. Because, I picked with the Patriots before. I won against the spread. I went against them against the Ravens when I thought the Ravens were the much better team. The Patriots ended up covering that game and winning. Last week, I thought they were going to beat Houston because I thought they were better. They ended up losing that one. So now we're to the Cardinals. Cardinals are 6-4. They got Kyler Murray. They have DeAndre Hopkins, Larry Fitzgerald, all that. Patriots defense struggled a little bit here recently. Cam is actually playing a little better, but in terms of results, they haven't been. They've been up and down past couple of weeks, winning, lose, win, lose. So oh my god. So I have the Cardinals. So the Cardinals are a 2.5 point favorite. Part of me wants to go with the Cardinals in this matchup, but I can see the Patriots winning this game too. No, I'll take the Cardinals 2.5 point favorite over the Patriots. Let's go with that. I'll just say Murray, Hopkins, and Fitzgerald are a better trio than, I guess, Cam, Jacoby Myers, and Damiere Byrd. So I'll take the Cardinals 3 over the Patriots 3. Give them the Cardinals there. Sunday night, have the Bears and the Packers. Packers are 8.5 point favorite in this game. I think that spread is a little bit too big. I'm actually going to take the Bears to cover 8.5. I think Green Bay will ultimately win the game, but I don't see it being that big of a margin, especially with Khalil Mack in that defense. Yeah, I think they will give Aaron Rodgers some trouble, and Green Bay probably wins that one by 5-6. So give me the Bears to cover in that one. Then Monday night, we have the Seahawks and the Eagles. Seahawks are a 5.5-point favorite. I'm taking the Seahawks here. Seahawks are the much better team. Eagles have questions with Carson Wentz at quarterback, which I was never on the Carson Wentz bandwagon. I mean, yeah, he had that 1 year when he looked like he was going to be the MVP or whatever. But since then, he's kind of been trash. But analysts, and all that keep picking the Eagles to win that division. So they might win the division, but Carson Wentz is not that good of a quarterback. And the Seahawks seem to be turning it around a little bit defensively. So I think Seahawks will have an easy time beating the Eagles in that one. So give me Seahawks in that one. So just to recap Week 12, taking Houston over Detroit, Redskins over the Cowboys. I just did it. Not the Redskins. Washington football team over the Cowboys. Give me the Raiders over the Falcons. Cardinals over the Patriots. The Bears to cover over Green Bay. And Seahawks over the Eagles. So like I said last week, 1-5. I'm now 5 games under 500 overall. I'm feeling good about this week. Feeling good. I think today I could end up going 2-0, which would be a good start. And the other 4, I feel good, except for the Cardinals-Patriots game. Kind of on the fence about that one, but I see at least a 4-2 week this week. And of course, we will go over Week 12 on Tuesday. Yeah, we'll do that Tuesday. So definitely look out for that. That's the Thanksgiving outlook and my Week 12 picks going forward. So then just looking ahead at upcoming episodes. Tomorrow I may look at, next episode, probably look at NBA free agency. We'll go back to that. Hopefully we can have some resolution to the Gordon Hayward situation with Charlotte by then. But there have been a couple of more signings I do want to go over. As we are less than a month away from the start of the NBA season. So kind of want to take another look at some NBA stories going on. Also have college football that we'll be looking at. Not the next episode, probably the one after. I don't know if any of you know, but college basketball got started yesterday. So, and there's a couple of holiday tournaments going on right now. So as I'm watching those, I may touch on that maybe Monday or so. Kind of see what teams look good so far early on in the college basketball season. Then, like I said, around Tuesday, recap Week 12. So, there's definitely a lot to talk about. We will go over all of that. I do want to kind of work in some Major League Soccer as well, because their playoffs have started. I have watched some of those games. The playoffs have been great so far in the MLS. So don't want to abandon my soccer fans, because I am a soccer fan as well. So I will talk about that one of these episodes as well. But that's down the line. And like I said, a lot to talk about. A lot of sports going on. Now with college basketball being thrown in, there's even more. So I'll definitely have plenty of content for you guys. So thank you for tuning in. If you are new here, hope you would subscribe wherever you are listening to the podcast, as it is available on all major platforms. You can go over to the Facebook page, Chompin at the Bit. You can follow, I guess you can like the page, whatever, and you can follow the show there. You can access the episodes there as well. If you want to interact, go to Twitter at Chompin Podcast, and you can follow the show there. I've started to become more active on Twitter. I will put up I do put my episodes up there as well. And then I have recently started putting like polls and stuff on there. So should definitely give that a follow. Have some fun over there. And yeah. So hopefully you liked what you heard, on Twitter or whatever. You can drop a comment whether you agree with what I said. Anything you disagreed with, let me know. And so yeah, thanks for tuning in. And once again, happy Thanksgiving. So hope you're enjoying some good food, watching some football, watching some college basketball. Plenty of sports going on. A lot of channel surfing, at least for me. Hopefully you're doing the same. Like I said, yeah, be safe, care about your loved ones and all that. God bless, and I will catch you next episode. All right.